Welcome to Tenderhoof Solutions. We're going to be fixing a quarter crack. This is an old video that's been redone because the quality of sound on YouTube was got garbled over the years. This horse has been three-quartered, and as you can see, just from his own weight standing on the foot, this isn't even walking, how much that crack will move. And it's just because the heel settles down. I'm not a big fan of three-quartering this kind of a horse because you can't get it to heel the way you want. I might three-quarter one after I patched it just to stop the concussion. Once again, you can see how much it moves just from me pushing those two the crack together. So what we want to do is stabilize this, and the way I'll accomplish that is I will use a drill bit and drill a couple holes on each side, channels for the wire to lace this crack together. Now you can see the light colored at the bottom. This horse is missing some walls, so I'd actually rebuilt this before with some structural adhesive. And now we're going to lace through that. We'll come from both sides so we can draw this crack together. You might hear now, this is year 216. The last couple of years they've been, maybe even more than that, maybe 4 years, they've been talking that it's detrimental to suture cracks. I'm not sure what the theory is behind that, but I can tell you one thing. I've been lacing them for since 1977, and my father designed that back in the 60s. We've had phenomenal success, and we do lots of them. So, and there was the odd time I will patch one without lacing it if the crack is that dried out and there's no movement in the crack at all. There's really no sense to lace it because these wires are more to draw the crack into position than it is to heal the crack. Now what we want to do, the whole goal of this, is I can lace this horse. Now this is a very severe crack. You usually don't see them quite this bad, but in a crack that isn't quite this bad, I can lace them and the horse can go and continue training. So if they can get 5-6 days of training while it's drying out, it helps the horse. And some horses tie up. You have all kinds of issues with horses, as you know, but it gives them a chance to keep the horse in training while we're drying it up. And now you'll watch as we start twisting these wires together. You're just going to watch that crack. Watch it in the middle, and you'll see how much this just draws it together. Now when you see that kind of tissue, it's that kind of almost like a kid who skinned his knee, like a raspberry. Be very careful what you paint them with. I'm sure in this case we used Thrushbuster diluted with alcohol, and the solution would probably be 50-50. That's usually what I recommend until the tissue looks dried out somewhat, and then I'll go to straight Thrushbuster to really dry up the crack. So as you can see now, we've really pulled this crack together. This horse would be able to walk, do whatever. Before, without any support, they were just going nowhere and having a major problem. So it looks like we waited 6 days. The horse is walking sound. There's no heat is what I'm looking for. Now what I want to do is remove the wires and then clean up the whole area so we get a good bond with the glue. And like I said, it's the beauty of these wires. They just keep everything in position, let this dry up well, and you really don't lose much time. I've actually had some horses that race laced up, and I'm talking standardbreds, that was unheard of before. It's just we have such good wire now that it's a perfect blend, and very rarely will I have them break unless there's just too much pressure on the wires. And with a little bit of support, I like window bars a lot of times, especially a horse like this. You want to support that. You're actually trying to support the bulb, so you'll have that window bar underneath the frog on both sides. Come straight across the back of the heel and support the frog so that bulb won't drop down. As you can see, I'm using a carbide burr here. Love them because they're very, very sharp. I can take off just a thin layer. Some guys will use discs and sanding wheels, and some guys don't use anything. They just kind of clean it up and patch over it. I'm not going to chase this all the way to the bottom. I have more chance of having problems. So I'll clean it up the best I can, and that thrush buster will totally disinfect the whole area. The next thing I'll do, I'm just cleaning the debris out of these wire holes. Those wire holes are pretty low, so I'm going to reposition them. I'll go up higher just to get a better position for my wires, so I'm closer to the top, and I'll have more control on that crack up top. This horse he's actually pretty typical what I see for thickness of wall, and then he'd run a little more than 1/8 of an inch. That'd be max. I mean, a lot of the standard breds and the big jumping horses, they have a ton of foot to work with. So, you know, you just want to be a little careful putting these in. If you do happen to get in too deep and get some blood, just stop. You'll have to dry it up and regroup. That's all. You can see all the bruising through the wall there from before. Might be part of what the problem was, just too much concussion. And as you can see, that crack was right in the hairline. It's healed up quite well, actually. Like it says here, the wire really doesn't give any strength to the patch. What it does, it'll position that crack. It'll just close that area up. You can see there's still quite a bit of movement, but it looks super healthy for me. I was very happy with this one. Now this is actually, like I said, we're in 216 now. With these videos, a lot of people wonder how old these things are. This was a horse that was at, he was stabled at Belmont Park. I think we're coming into the fall season, so he was going to be racing at Aqueduct. Now, as you can see there, the crack just pulled together perfectly. Like I said, I'm not too sure what the theory is about not lacing, but I can tell you now, we've done tens of thousands of them this way and had phenomenal success. Some horses will re-crack, but that's usually because it's right in their genes. They're prone to it, and that's when a 3/4 horse, if they're prone to cracking, you want to keep that the pressure off that heel. Now the product we all use basically the same products: of methacrylic, structural adhesive. I use fiberglass. A lot of times you'll see where they use Spectra cloth, which is what they use for bulletproof vests. I think that might be overkill. Certainly works, but it's a little tougher to work around. What I'm looking for at the end is to trim down my patch so it's not heavy, not bulky, doesn't sit out wide. I want where they can, you know, sometimes they're farther forward. You want them to be able to drive nails through it with no problem. And that glue sets up very quickly. You can watch other videos where if it's, you know, when I travel, I might have to put a drain in. So you can see how this product just cleans up like a natural hoof wall. Like I say, I don't want it bulky. I don't want any extra weight. You can see how high that heel was off the ground. So now I want to get some support under there, and that's when we'll use our Yasha shoe. The back part of that shoe is much softer than the front. The front is like an 80 durometer, and the back's somewhere around 50. And it looks like a little over a month he started back and won his first race at Aqueduct. Thanks for coming to Tenderhoof Solutions, and we're hoping to see you somewhere.